if you are new to my channel or haven't watched the Coffee Chats before, they used to be on other platforms. I've now brought them over to my channel. Um, Coffee Chats is usually where I take a break from filming and make myself a coffee, sit down and have a chat with you guys and let you guys ask me any survival questions. And I answer them the best I can. Can you get me a pen and piece of paper, like a texter? So yeah, so that's what we're doing here. And right now I'm just taking a bit of a break from reorganising my pack. Like I say, I've got a hike coming up, so I need to reorganise my pack. It's set up for a short filming expedition. It's a bit heavy, so I've just got to redo that. So while I'm doing that, if you guys have any survival related questions or any conversation starters, come at me. I'll answer them the best I can. And for what it's worth, I'm just basically, that peninsula is the hike that I'm about to do. It's a bit of an overnight one. It's only a short hike. It's only about 10 k's, but I'm doing it overnight, so film a whole pile of content on the way. If you don't know, this is my first hike back after last year being in and out of hospital for most of the year, so that's why I chose a nice short one for this trip. But like I said, at the moment, that's the pack I'm using, and the weight and everything, weight distribution's not right, so I've got to kind of shuffle stuff around and make some room and see if there's anything that's in there that doesn't need to be in there. But yeah, so I've been, if you've got any survival related questions, feel free to shoot them my way. I'll answer them the best I can. Texter, please. Thick texter. Yeah, so unfortunately there is some weight aspects of my pack that I need to bring. Like, that is just a couple of GoPros, batteries, mounts and stuff. But that's like a little over 2 kilos, almost 3. So unfortunately I have to take that. So that's why I need to sort of lighten up the rest of my pack, because I mean, I haven't even put food or clothes in there and I'm already sitting around 12 kilos. So by the time I put food, and then I've got 4 litres of water to go on there as well, I'm looking close to 20 odd to 25 kilos, which I don't really want to be carrying for a set amount of time. But I'm not going to be building a shelter on this trip, on this hike. Normally, if I'm staying out in the bush, I will build a shelter, but I will be staying in a hammock for this one. I've recently just joined, well, I guess you could say the hammock camping sort of community, and realised that it is so much nicer than sleeping in the dirt. I did consider getting a chest rig, yes. I was thinking of that. I'm getting a frame for this pack, an external frame, which should distribute the weight a little bit better, and getting a better belt for it as well. Yeah, I mean, the weight, if it's distributed evenly and correctly, it doesn't feel like much at all. I've already made it a lot better by moving some of the weight, instead of being lower in the pack, to right, like in the middle. So I've got light items in the middle, heavy sort of stuff right against my back there, and then lighter stuff around it. So that's helped. That makes it sit a bit nicer. Do you know MD? No, I don't know them. Hey, yeah, I'm well. I was saying before, just pretty well back to like 95% after my surgeries and everything. So I looking at doing this hike just to sort of test my limits and get back out there. Me, I'm from Western Australia, so the southwest of Western Australia. If you've ever heard of Perth, I'm about 100 kilometres south of that, or 200 kilometres south of that, which would be roughly, I guess, just over 100 miles. Hey, how are you, mate? It's good to see you back. I was saying before, like, this live wasn't supposed to be on YouTube tonight. It was supposed to be on Instagram, but Meta has just annoyed the crap out of me with a few of their decisions lately, and one of their most latest decision is to change the amount of followers someone must have before you can go live. They now change that to 1,000. So, and I don't use Instagram that much, so my following on Instagram is very small. Yeah. Oh God, no, I'm not from Collie. Nah, Bunbury, mate. Yes, no, yeah, I'm from down the hill. Yeah, so a little bit more about like what I'm doing to my pack. So these 4 bags, that is, so this one here is my actual hammock, as you can see with the carabiners on it. Oh, you worked in Muja and Worsley. Okay, yeah. I am well familiar with those areas. Yeah. That there's actually a fly tent. I'm actually going to swap this one out. This one I've got a 3x3 meter fly tent. This one's a shaped one, and it can really only be used in one way, which I'm not a big fan of. So I'm going to swap that out with a 3x3 meter fly tent. Takes up a little bit more room, but it's actually a lot lighter. And that one's a mosquito net. And they're the tie straps for it. So very compact system. It's smaller and lighter than sort of most tents, but and of course you got your pegs. I mean, I can make do by using sticks, but how are you, mate? Yes, we all know the stigma around Collie. I still got to figure out what knife I'm going to take. Probably going to take multiple. I normally do. Not bringing an axe because I have my Camp 10, which is my heavy duty chopper, and I find that there isn't really much I can't do without my saw and that. Hey, not much. What's good with you, man? I'm just reorganizing my pack, getting ready for a hike. Fishing SMG. What do you mean? This hike. I mean, I might do a bit of fishing on this hike. I have some of these little bloody survival cards that are filled with press out fish hooks and everything. I've that were sent to me by the guys at Survival Storehouse. So I was going to give them a shot, see if I can rig up something, see if I can catch a fish on there. But where we're going is renowned for blowies. You don't really catch much where we're going there. Yeah, no, yeah, that's right. There's nothing really too much that I'd need an axe for out there. The axe I have is mainly just for bushcrafting stuff. But like I said, that chopper that I've got, that Kershaw Camp 10 is a lot nicer. A lot nicer to use, nowhere near as heavy. And I've put that knife through some punishment, and it has barely even dulled. I mean, I did give it a good sharpen the other day, but yeah. But a couple of things. So I know that you can. I've got a proper hiking sleeping bag that's like really small, and it's good for like -5 degrees or something. I'm not bringing that one. I'm just bringing. Yeah, Kershaw is great. Bringing my classic sleeping bag that actually comes in 2 parts. So this is a actual Australian Army sleeping bag, and the reason it comes in 2 parts is because it's all weather. So I actually have the Gerber Bushcrafter. It's in the garage at the moment, so I'm not going to go get it. It's not a bad axe. It's pretty good. Wouldn't use it for splitting a full load of wood, but yeah, it's really good for bushcrafting. It's got a nice thinner sort of blade in it, so you can sort of hone in on what you're doing. Not really for yeah, like splitting logs. But yeah, so as I was saying, sleeping bag actually comes in 2 parts. That's the sleeping bag. Just by itself is for like decent sort of warmish sort of weather. But if it gets really cold, it actually has an outer shell that you can put around it, which makes it to rated to 0 degrees, I think, off the top of my head. So depending on what the weather's going to look like, it's going to be one or both of those in the bottom of my pack. But I mean, this here can actually fold down to half its size again, so it's just got a lot of air in there. But it might come anyway, because it actually, if you don't use it, it actually doubles as a pillow. That's why it's in like a rectangular sort of bag, so I don't mind bringing that anyway. Well, they do make good gear. I mean, for years I used the Gerber survival knife, but then I upgraded to the Gerber strong arm, which was my bushcrafter for a few more years after that. Again, another fantastic knife. So they do make good gear, and I stand by gear that doesn't let me down. And not only that, is the survival knife I actually broke. There was a fault in the metal, and I could see like the way it chipped, and actually a big chunk came out of the blade. And I contacted Gerber, and within a week I had another brand new one. So here's the flog, but makes. Are you talking about the Bear Grylls one? Because you can you can get a Bear Grylls version of the same knife. I don't have that, purely because I sort of would prefer just the Gerber one instead of the Bear Grylls one. But yeah, but like I said, I broke it. I contacted their support email, and within a week I had another brand new one waiting for me to come pick up from the place I bought it from. So they're you know, and I punished that knife too. You know, I used it for battening and all sorts, and no questions asked, just, yep, lifetime warranty, it's broken, I'll replace it. So that's another reason why I've got a lot of Gerber stuff, because not only is it good gear, it's also good backup service with it as well. Although I am bringing that with us, Brett. I'm bringing the flint and steel. So a lot of people get these confused. A lot of people think that is a flint and steel. So this is not a flint and steel. Sort of a little pet peeve of mine when I pull this out to light a fire and they go, oh, you got flint and steel. It's like, no. This is a flint, which is flint rock, and steel. And virtually same sort of principle. Although this is a lot harder to light a fire with unless you've got char cloth, which I do have some char cloth. They have gotten worse recently, yes, but Friskers actually do make a lot of good stuff as well. Don't discount Friskers. They do make a lot of good stuff as well, but they have moved a lot of their operations offshore. So there are still some lines that are made, still some Gerber lines that are still made in Portland, but a lot of them have moved to where everything gets made these days. And yeah, so the Bear Grylls line being one of them. However, some of their main lines, like this one, they are still made, as you can see, still made in Portland in the USA. They also make really good axes for like log splitters. So, and my one of my saws is a Friskers, and it's hasn't let me down, and works just as good as my Silky. So I had that for years before I got a Silky. And yeah, I've also got the Gerber folding saw as well, but that's still out in the garage. That still needs to come in here. I'm about to start drawing on the maps there, Brett, as well. So I still have sort of the map I made the other day, which, as you can see, I've already marked the trail on it, that dotted line down the bottom. So I'm going to plot out the course, plot out the coordinates and everything of where we're going to set up camp and stuff like that. And along the way, I'll teach you how to sort of read to it and navigate, because we're not going to camp. I've got a place in mind that's a little bit off the trail, so I'll get you to navigate to that after I teach you a few things. But yeah, like I said, once I adjust where everything goes, where everything's sitting, I think it's going to be... No, we're not using Google Maps. I'm going to make a better map than that, and I'm going to use Aussie Explorer for it. But if you ever do want to make maps, I mean, I made those ones in like 5 minutes on Caltopo, and you don't have to pay for Caltopo. So, but no, I'll make better maps, and I'll have everything labelled on there properly. Can't wait to learn about maps. You say that now. You say that now. And nah, I do like maps. I prefer a paper map and a compass over a GPS any day of the week. Any day. I just had to flip my bag over so I can chuck these in the bottom. So my wife's like, it's not even September yet. Why are you getting so excited? It's like, because I've been cooped up here for far too long, not out in the bush. Oh, let's see how lost you can get us. I might even, for fun, see if there's any geocaches out there and put them on the map, see if you can locate them while we're out there. I think there's some on there. I'll have to check. Actually, I was listening to episode 19 of your podcast while I was in the car on the way home from work today. And just make sure Rob remembers to bring like 3 mics, not 2. I don't fancy having your mics all up in my face. Cape to Cape for a year. Yeah, well, these things take planning. And I think planning it's half the fun. You know, it also gives me an excuse to go and replace equipment. Especially seeing it's like a lot of my equipment, like in the year I was recovering after my last surgery and stuff, so that it's been used and repurposed for other things, so I get to reuse it. Well, I'll have a look. If there's not a geocache out there, we will put one out there. So I'll bring. I mean, I used to be right into geocaching. I've got like a stack of pre-made geocaches ready to go. So I'll just bring one of them. So if there's not one out there, I will put one out there where we set up camp. And log it on the site. So we'll do that. And we'll put it on both of our channels as well. So if you're in here and you see and get out there and do it, commenting like down here, check them out. Both the YouTube channel and the podcast, especially if you like hiking. They talk a lot about a lot of the trails around here in Western Australia that they get up to and walk. So, the podcast is good for a laugh. Collab geocache, I'm down with that. We'll just make it a what do you call it? Just a normal geocache. I can't bother making it like a multi-cache or something like that. But yeah, but we'll do that. If there's not one already out there, we'll put one out there. Straight up. Yeah, so what is that? The maps there. No, that's there. So that's I'm contemplating whether or not to bring a chair. I mean, I have a chair in here already, but I don't know. Ah, yeah, Buffalo Beach is sort of the other way to where we're going. We're going to be a few k's away from Buffalo Beach. So we're that's alright. We'll put one out there. We will definitely do that. That's my learnt thing. Okay, yeah. So geocaching is pretty fun, and it's a great way to learn how to use a GPS. I used to use geocaching when I was teaching navigate urban rural environments. I'd take people out to so we'd do a day where we would be navigating with a map and a compass, And then I would just print out a whole pile of geocache locations and get them to do geocaching. It's a great way to learn how to use a GPS. Yeah, I'm gonna bring a chair. Located my stove the other day, which is kind of cool, so thought I'd lost this. So the best $13 I ever spent. So that is how big my stove is. And that is how big it is when it's folded up. And it weighs virtually nothing, and it cost me all of $13. And all it does is screw straight to the top of one of these, which, I mean, that's full enough. I don't think I need to replace that as yet. That fits in there. Nice. I just realised that does fit in there. But that now means my coffee cup has to find a new place to live. Which there should be enough room in that pouch for it anyway. If not, I can always clip it to the outside of my bag. Yep. Going on the outside of my bag, I think. Oh yeah, so while I'm sitting here talking, like I said, if you've got any sort of survival questions, feel free, shoot them at me. I'll answer them to the best of my abilities. It also appears the decision's been made for me. I've been throwing the decision around whether or not to stay with search and rescue, and it turns out that decision has now been taken out of my hands, with my membership being revoked, which is a little bit of a kick in the guts. I think I gave them 20 years, and I take a year off to recover from multiple surgeries and going septic and stuff, and then all of a sudden I'm not doing enough and my membership's been revoked. So a little bit disappointed in that, but like I said, I'll start my own emergency service with blackjack and hookers. I'm just going to find a new place for my cup to live. Another thing I think I'm going to downgrade is I don't think I need to carry this with me. I think I'll make a smaller first aid kit. So that's the Survival brand first aid kit. I've never bought one of these. I keep getting them given to me. And that's the four-wheel drive one. I think I might get the slimline hiking one. You know, considering the biggest sort of threat out on this hike is snakes, so that's what I need to take care of snakes. Oh, snake bites. How are ya? But yeah, so I definitely think I will be making a smaller first aid kit, but there is a couple of things I want out of this that I put in there. One tourniquet and one SAM splint. Not that I reckon we'll need a tourniquet, but I think it's a handy thing to have. Yeah, day's going good. What about yourself? Well, day's over. It's now 8:15. But yeah, going good. What about yourself? So yeah, I think that's going to be too heavy and too bulky to keep in there. I was erring on the side of caution by bringing a decent first aid kit on this hike, but I think it's just, I don't think I need, yeah, it's night for me too. I mean, 8:15 at night. I reckon my cup can live in there. Because I reckon I don't think I need this much cordage. Because I'm bringing a spool of fishing line, so. Yeah, see, I'm going to make a very minimal one. It's going to have basically just the essentials. Like I said, I keep my snakebite kit separate for a reason, and it's a completely different colour to everything else in my bag, so it's very easy to find. But I keep my snakebite kit separate and on the outside. Oh, have a good night. So, the first aid kit itself really doesn't need to be much. You know, especially seeing as I'm also bringing a Schmarg, and Schmargs are good for a lot of things when it comes to first aid. If you don't know what a Schmarg is, that's a Schmarg. If you don't have a Schmarg, I suggest you get one, because they come in handy for a hell of a lot of things. Everything from collecting and filtering water, to first aid, to keeping the sun off you, to keeping you warm, to keeping you cool. And yeah, so they have a lot of uses, the old Schmarg. And I never head out bush without it. It's one of the things I always have with me. Yeah, see, Australian snakes, it's more about immobilization and not moving, not so much about cutting off blood flow, because we have, majority of our snakes have got a neurotoxin, not a hemotoxin, so that toxin actually flows through the lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system only moves when you move. So, unlike a hemotoxin, which goes through the bloodstream and causes tissue breakdown and mass internal bleeding, it goes through, like I said, the lymphatic system. So yeah, like I said, it's more about immobilizing and stopping moving, because like the lymphatic fluid basically starts at the top, goes down, comes back up. Every time you move, it pumps. So yeah. Last thing, it's only when it gets to your lymph nodes that's where it starts making its way, getting spread everywhere. I mean, back before, I mean, the First Nations people, if someone was bitten by a snake, they used to just kind of dig a pit, bury them with their head out so they couldn't move. And that way they would ensure, because eventually the venom will get absorbed and expelled out of your body. But in saying that, like, only 1 in 3 bites is actually envenomated. Most of them, Australian snakes, are like dry strikes. Unless it's a juvenile, because they really haven't learnt venom control. But most of the time, you're too big for a snake to eat, so they don't really want to waste their venom on you. So most of the time, you'll get a dry strike before you get envenomated. A lot of misconceptions about snakes and snake bites. Yeah. What's that? Another myth there is that Australian snakes don't actually hibernate. They slow right down, but they don't hibernate. So you actually still see them all year round. Still got to find someone to drive us down to that point. to begin with. So driving 10k's on the beach, dropping us off, and then picking us up the next day. So I still gotta organise that, because I don't really want to leave the car there. I know what it's like around here, so I'm not a big fan. Decent pair of boots, long pants. Yeah, look, long sort of baggy pants. I wear, like if you saw my boots last night, I wear really high top 5-on-1 tactical ATACs. And if I'm in an area that's quite swampy, where the chances of me running into a tiger snake high, I'll wear the gaiters as well. I wear snakebite gaiters, which usually do the trick. But yeah, definitely boots and pants. You know, another thing about Australian snakes is the fangs in Australian snakes aren't like a lot of others. They're not hollow. They're not like hypodermic needles. They don't actually go in and inject. They actually have a groove on the outside of the fang, and the venom comes and drips down the fang, so they more like scrape. So sometimes if you're bitten and you are envenomated, you can get lucky and it not actually enter the wounds. So yeah, so that's another little tidbit there. So Australian snakes, you usually get away with boots and pants, or just don't mess with snakes. Don't mess with the danger noodles. Mess with nopropes all you like, because they don't have venom, but danger noodles, I stay away from them. Yeah, so I'd get down with a carpet python. That'd be cool. But if one of you pick up a tiger snake or a dugong, I'm gone. Yes, look, where we are is notorious for car thieves, which is why I don't want to leave my car there, and I don't want Rob or Brett to leave their cars there. So I'm trying to get someone to give us a lift and like leave the cars, I don't know, at my place or something like that. Yeah, so I just like I said, I'm organising that. I mean, if anything, we could leave a car at the campsite, just pay for a campsite for the night and just leave the car there. But because there's a campsite that's a little bit further up than the start of the trail. Yeah. Yeah, I don't like leaving my car out that area. Especially if you leave it at Buffalo Beach. Never leave your car at Buffalo Beach. Yeah, that's super sketchy there at night. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I've just marked on that roughly where that spot is. Yeah, it is a real shame. Yeah, it's been a real shift in the last decade or so. That you can't leave your stuff unattended. Yeah, I mean, I even get packages delivered to my work because I really don't. I've got Ring cameras and everything, and I still don't trust my area because there's porch pirates everywhere. Yeah. So what else? What else? I don't really have much. Ciao. Yeah, so I was doing, what was I doing? Oh, that's right. I was watching another well-known YouTuber the other day, because we were talking about this last night. YouTubers doing stupid things, teaching bad habits. I watched one who was in like the north end of Australia, and he was doing a survival challenge and decided to climb a tree to check out, to see if he could see any terrain features or anything he could. And I thought, yeah, okay, climbing a tree is a tad risky in a survival situation if you've got no one there really to watch out for you. But then he goes and jumps out of the tree and breaks his ankle. Oh, that's just fantastic. That's yeah. I mean, climbing a tree is risky enough, but jumping out of it, not really a risk you wanna. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna bring my drone. Thinking I have a veteran stealth camp. Just. Yeah, look, I hate the fact that wild camping is illegal here. I absolutely hate it. I mean, I understand why they brought that in. I've walked through bits of bushland that have had people camping in it, and some of the places are just absolutely disgusting. I've come across places where people have camped, and there's no one there, and the logs and everything on the fire were still smoking. I'm like, at least put it out. You're gonna cause a fire. So I understand why they brought those rules in, but it's a bit of a shame. It's a shame you can't just get a license. It's a shame you can't just. I mean, I'd happily pay for a permit to go camp in Crown Land or something like that, or camp in a reserve. Not so much a national park, but there's lots of reserves and stuff around. I'd do that straight up, but it's just a shame that we don't even have the option. However, stealth camping is the thing, and that's another reason why I like the hammock, because hammock camping is a minimal disruption of the area, because you're off the ground, you're just between a couple of trees, you're not clearing areas or stuff like that. Cool. So you're gonna have your drone with us while we're out there? I was thinking about bringing mine, but I think I want to learn how to fly it a bit better before. Otherwise, I reckon it's probably going to end up in the water or up in a tree. But yeah. Lost my train of thought now. Lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, sweet as, yeah, because I reckon I'll probably make a few videos out of it. And vice versa, any footage I get, I'll flick through to you as well. I might even make a Dropbox and just give you the password for it, so I can just upload it to a Dropbox, like a Google Drive or something. Yeah, see, I don't want to do that. I don't want to put mine in a tree. And I definitely don't want it ending up in the water. Especially not the first time I take it out. So I kind of want to learn how to be a decent pilot with it before I bring it out with me. Especially seeing as it was a gift from my wife, I'd never hear the end of it if I lost it. But yeah, I think as for the first aid kit, I think I have to go check out the new St. John shop we got here. So St. John Ambulance moved their headquarters, and they've just converted their old headquarters into a first aid shop. So it just sells just nothing but first aid equipment, and they've got the training rooms in the back. So I think I'm going to go check that out and see if I can make a hiking first aid kit while I'm there. I might film that too. What I'm putting in a first aid kit. Oh, for some reason that just reminded me of that video of that buddy. I don't know if you all seen it. If you've seen that buddy, that influencer who's sort of demanding more rights, saying that they work hard, and how would the country like keep going if influencers weren't there? God, that just reminded me of that. Just like, how would you know what to put in a first aid kit if I don't do a gear haul? That's funny shit. God, I'm so glad she's getting absolutely ripped on. Influencers don't need a union. That was my thoughts exactly. Oh, they work hard? No. They just film everything they do and put it on. I mean, like, sometimes it can be hard. Like, when I was uploading every week, it got, like, a bit of a mission, but... Well, I'm going to be bringing pretty much all the water I need with me for this one, because we are surrounded by ocean on both sides, and most of the low-lying areas, I think there is a well out there somewhere, but most of the low-lying areas are pretty brackish because they've had salt washed into them. I might bring a Puri bag, or I'll bring the Puri bag with me, and if we do find some fresh water, I can purify 10 litres like that. See, I love the filming, I hate the editing. Yeah. I'm not a fan of the editing. I find that tedious. Influencer in the wild. I was in Bali earlier on this year, and there was a few influencers in the wild. But yeah, they are definitely interesting to watch. Bit yeah. Well, I can do that. I can send you my footage. You'll probably learn a few swear words that you've never heard before. So at the moment, my pack, the one I'm using for this trip, is a ex-Australian Army Sala International G900, which is the old East Timor era bag. It's got more gear in it than I need at the moment because it was set up for just day tripping. So I'm in the process of lightening it up because at the moment I haven't even put food or extra clothes or anything in there, and it's already above 12 kilos. I want to try and, when it's completely packed, I want to keep it at least below the 15 mark. As for my sleep system, I am using a E&O hammock. Normally I'd build a shelter, but this area where we're going is notorious for ticks, so I want to keep myself off the ground. So that's the entire sleep system. So they're obviously the straps for the hammock, That's a fly net that goes around it, the tent that goes over it, and of course the hammock itself. It's all really lightweight sort of stuff, and it's really small, so that's the one I'm using for this one. Okay. I'll take that bet. We can compare notes. But I do swear in multiple languages. But yeah, so I'm like, yeah, so as I said, so I want to keep my pack sort of below the 15 kilo mark, and that's with 4 kilos of 4 liters of water and my food and everything. So yeah, that is the idea. But as I said, a lot of it has to do with the way I pack my pack and the weight distribution. I am going to get an external frame for it. So what have I done with that strap? Another good thing about this pack is it actually got straps on the inside that kind of hold everything all in place as well. I have once, quite a while ago, I had an MRE which had one in there. The guys here from Get Out There and Do It, they use them quite a lot. They are brilliant. But yeah, I do like a fire for morale. I love the old bush telly. But not only that is, you can't warm yourself up with a heater bag after a while. The heater bag only gets hot for long enough to cook your food, and you can't reuse it. They don't really get hot enough to be able to boil water, to purify water, to sterilize water. And yeah, they don't create smoke to keep the mosquitoes and stuff away. So fire is always sort of king. So I do like having a bit of a fire. I do actually have a Hexamine stove as well. That's not in here at the moment. It's actually in one of my other water bottles. Little Hexi stove and kidney cup attached to one of my water bottles. I think that might be in the garage in one of the boxes as well. All my survival gear and camping gear, everything got sort of all boxed up and moved to the garage when the new baby came along, because I lost my office because I had to get converted into a nursery. So it's out there. But yeah, as for night vision, I actually might bring my night vision monocular with us. Or I might bring the thermal. No, my phone's got a thermal imaging camera. I'll bring the night vision, the infrared monocular with me, so see some cool shit with that. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna get a couple of those heater bags for the trip. But I don't know. I don't know if you saw before, if you were here. Let me get it back out. I actually do carry a stove on me as well, which I got. Just goes on top of one of these. One sec, let me go check. It's one that goes on my old helmet. So give me a sec. can't actually see the brand on it, but yeah, it used to go on a helmet and sort of just like slimming down and just stay like that, and if it didn't need it, it just went back up. But I do have the swivel mount and everything still. Have it on my caving helmet, because like, figured, where else am I going to be in pitch black? Probably when I'm caving. So it's on there. So, but I might just bring this anyway, just for a bit of fun, which I'll probably have to charge a battery for it. They're probably both flat by now. But that's right, I got a few batteries for it. But as for brand, I'm not actually sure. It doesn't have any sort of markings on it. All I know is that if you're ever wearing night vision goggles or night vision binocular and that, do yourself a favour and look up at the stars. You see so many more that you normally don't see. It's actually really cool. Especially if you know how to navigate with the stars. Actually makes it more difficult because they all sort of appear the same sort of brightness. That's something else I can teach you too, Brett. If the sky is clear, I'll teach you how to navigate. I'll teach you a few different ways to find south using the stars. Unfortunately, like for us, like navigating with celestial bodies is easier in the northern hemisphere than it is for us in the southern hemisphere, purely because they have the North Star. And the North Star is sort of special because it stays in one spot. So as everything else sort of rotates around it with the rotation of the Earth, the North Star basically doesn't move. And so you can use that not only to navigate with, because it always is at north, you can also use it to tell the time by figuring out where it is in conjunction to the constellations around it, because they move around it at basically at a set time. So you can figure out timing as well. That we can't really do down here. Down here we find south using the Southern Cross, the pointers, and Arcanar. If you don't know what Arcanar is, it's like the brightest star in the sky. If you draw a line between the top and bottom cross of the Southern Cross and just keep going, eventually you'll come across a really bright star. That bright star is a star called Arcanar, and halfway between Arcanar and the bottom of the Southern Cross is like dead south. So there you go. You learnt something new. Unless you already knew that, then you can just tell me to shut up. But yeah, so that's all sort of celestial navigation is. It's figuring out a direction and then basing everything. You know, if you need to head west, you know that that point that you found using the stars needs to be on this side of me if I want to head west. So I need to make sure that I'm always walking with that on that side. That's basically all it is. It's celestial navigation in a nutshell, is finding either north, south, east or west and making sure that that is on one side of your body depending on which way you want to go. But yeah, but no, I can definitely show you how to do that if the sky is clear when we're out there. But so I'll bring the infrared monocular. Like I said, my phone's got inbuilt FLIR, so we'll see if we can spot some possums in the trees and stuff like that with the FLIR camera. Do some navigation work. I'll bring a Puri bag in case we find some fresh water. I can easily use that to purify 10 litres of water at a time. Late September we're heading out, So hopefully it'll be clear by then, and not too cold. As I said, I also want to light a fire with the flint and steel, because I've never actually successfully lit a fire. I've never really tried to light a fire with a flint and steel, because I've always had ferro rods. But I want to give that a shot. Might even try and make a friction fire as well, because it's been quite a while since I've made a friction fire, and as I said, I've been in and out of hospital all last year, so I just need to sort of brush up on the skills a bit. But yeah, so what else did I have planned? Oh, I'm going to scour the shoreline when we can, and see if I can find some things to make a couple of crab traps or something like that, and see if we can catch some crabs or something. I know that shoreline is there's a lot of sea lettuce and stuff there too, so there's plenty of that sort of thing that we can eat there, but try and catch something to eat. Oh yeah, heaps of blue swimmers in the estuary. So yeah, like when I did this hike last, I had to cut it short because the person I was hiking with came down with heat illness because it was like really hot, and they weren't exactly, well, they weren't used to doing hikes like that. And by the time we reached the 10-kilometer mark, he was in a bad way indeed. So we had to call and get him extracted. Yeah. So, but last time I did that, we went beachcombing, I actually found like 4 or 5 of the cages out of people's crab nets. The dolphins here love tearing them out, so they always wash up on there. So if I can find one of them, I can make a pretty decent crab trap. But yeah, so I think I was there New Year's Day 2023, 24. I think that's when I did it last. And yeah, it was like 40 degrees. Yeah. And then I had a missing person search the following day. Oh yeah, electrolyte tablets are a must. Or beef jerky. Get the salt in you. That's another thing I have to do. I have to make up a huge batch of beef jerky for this trip. I need to make my ration packs. So I guess over the next few weeks and stuff, while we're getting ready for it, I'll start putting together a ration pack, start making some food and putting it in Mylar bags, getting the dehydrator out. Am I from Maylands? No, I'm not from Maylands. Oh yeah. So you can't really go from not doing hikes to doing 15 Ks in 39, 40 degree heat. That's just a recipe for disaster. But yeah, that's why I'm only choosing a short one for my first one back after my surgeries, because I don't know how my body's going to cope with it, being the first one back, carrying a pack, considering I'm missing one and a bit entire abdominal muscles after my last surgery. So yeah, so I'm not 100% sure how that's going to go, but That's why I chose a short one close to home, and that's why I have this. So if you don't know what that is, it is a GME AccuSat PLB. So if you don't know what a PLB is, it's a personal location beacon. So this is a distress-based beacon. It works the same as your EPIRB in your boat. So it is monitored by the Australian Marine Safety Authority. And what it does basically, so this one has a 7-year battery life. So unlike like the Zolios, the Spots, the Garmin InReaches, this one is purely just a distress beacon. So that's why this will last for 7 years before I have to replace it, and you can't charge it. What you do, you get in trouble, basically you pull this red tab, the aerial will fling out, press the button. Then whoever's monitoring that will send a helicopter out to come and get you. Simple as that. Because those channels are always monitored. I have heard the tale. I have. But yeah, that's sort of a must when you're going out there by yourself. So that one is one of the cheaper ones. They're about 300-ish. You can get others like the Zolio, the Spot, and the Garmin InReach. They cost a bit more, but they also turn your phone into a satellite phone, so you can send text messages. You can set it up so it sends a ping every now and then, so people can track where you are. But you do have to pay monthly subscriptions for them, and the battery life, I mean, I am hopeless with charging batteries, so knowing my luck, I would forget to charge it. I think the best one out of them is the Zolio, and that's got like a 7-week battery life before you need to charge it, unless you're using it a lot. So that's why I opted with the AccuSat. Now that most phones are coming out with the capability to be able to use satellite communications, I find that my next phone I'll probably get will have that. 200 hours battery on it, yeah. 39 a month, that's not too bad. Can you pause it though? I know I used to have a Spot, and if you weren't using it, you could pause your subscription and then just kick it off again when you were heading out again. But yeah, that I have no idea where that Spot went. It disappeared decades ago. Okay, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. I mean, but yeah, as I said, a lot of phones now are coming out. Like new ones are coming out with satellite phone technology. I know the phone I'm talking to you now on is. I mean, I can use it as a CB radio. I can tune into CB radio channels with it, and it's got a push to talk button on the side, so I can convert my phone to a CB radio pretty simply, and it's got quite a range on it too. But I think my next one, I'll definitely get the satellite capabilities. Try and get a new one. Like that's the thing. I don't buy Samsung or Apple or anything like that. I go for the companies that make like tough phones. So the phone I've got at the moment is the Doogee Fire 6. It's not the greatest Doogee phone I've ever had, but it does have forward-looking infrared camera, and it's got a long battery life. I've had quite a few of the Doogee phones, but they are tough phones. That's why I get them. They are waterproof, drop proof. They've got Gorilla Glass screens, so I haven't broken one yet, and dropped one off decent heights while climbing and stuff like that. But yeah, so if you are like, if you do look, this one was only $350. Like, pretty much all phones now are made in one area in China. Like most phones, Samsungs and all that, all made in one area. You just got to look around. Now Doogee is a Chinese company, but they do make a lot of other people's phones as well. But they make a range of tough phones for themselves. They also make a range of gaming phones, which I don't know what the purpose of a gaming phone is, but there is a lot of companies out there that specialize in making rugged phones. So phones that are drop proof, shock proof. I can put this one in the freezer and it would still work. They are pretty good phones. I mean, give me 2 seconds. So that is my old one, which still works, apart from it doesn't recognize my fingerprint anymore. But I had this one for about 3 years, and this one's been swimming, it's been dropped off cliffs, and there's not a scratch on the, or a couple of little scratches, but nothing wrong with the glass, nothing at all. And this one actually has a infrared camera on it. But yeah, so they do. There is other options out there apart from like Samsung and Apple and things like that, where you're paying overpriced for something that you can get a hell of a lot cheaper if you know what you're looking for. But yeah, there's a whole pile of different brands out there that do it. But like I said, the one I'm on right now isn't the greatest one I've had, but I should have stuck with the S series. But I wanted the forward-looking infrared camera. It's actually really sensitive too. I can see power cables inside the wall because of the heat they give off. Yeah, catch you later, Brett. I'm probably going to head off as well. I've got some stuff I got to do. So, cheers for sticking around, and I'll talk to you all again soon.